Greetings and salutations, nerds. You're listening to Praying for Superpowers,
A podcast about the deeper meanings, messages, and intricacies hidden within nerd culture. I'm Peter Jordahl.
And I'm Trever Sharon, and today we are at Petrie's Family Games playing the pre-launch of Keyforge, a new unique deck-building game.
Let's unlock this. This game is it's by Fantasy Flight Games, a great company. They produce some of my favorite deck building games. But what I love about this is it's $10 for a pack of cards, and this pack of cards is infinitely unique. In kind of a mind-boggling number. They have 370 unique cards. Each deck has 37 cards in it. So that's 10 decks where they don't even share a card. And then you get to mixing and matching.
Another really cool thing about this deck is each deck comes with its own name, its own graphic, and 3 of 7 different houses that you use in play. We're going to show you a little bit of our gameplay. We're not going to be doing a how to play, but we're going to be showing you us playing a few of the rules that we came across, and then we will share with you our thoughts on how the game is and whether or not you should go and invest a measly $10 in playing.
Okay, so if you chose to fight with him instead, he just use the shield.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll actually attack him with
Okay.
He is killed.
So then it's your turn.
Okay. That's yes.
I am going to play Untamed, Hunting Witch. Each time you play another creature, gain an amber.
So if you
Play
don't
the
get
Niffle
rid of
8,
3 of my amber,
gain an amber.
that will be gained.
And then
And you can't build
I
because
should have played this first, but that's okay.
I stole your
just
I
gonna hold on
captured
to
your
it.
one, so you couldn't.
And they are exhausted.
Oh, and then I need to draw. Wait,
And then I will ready and draw 2.
we're about
And it is your turn.
We're here with Matt Dawkins. Matt, you're a volunteer here at Petrie's Family Games. You've been playing Keyforge for a little while through some online platforms, and then all day today as well.
Absolutely.
Matt's been the guy that we've gone to all day, and everybody else as well, to figure out the rules.
Yeah.
He's a little bit more knowledgeable than everyone else.
A
in the
little
room.
bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So Matt, what is your experience with this kind of game, and what are your thoughts about Keyforge as a game?
So I played a lot of Fantasy Flight's living card games, all their other series. I've been a volunteer here at Petrie's for almost 4 years now,
Okay.
running different LCGs and stuff. As I think y'all have already talked about, this is a completely different model.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting wrapping my head around that and how we're going to run different formats and stuff for that. Really love what Fantasy Flight's done with the LCGs, and it's so cool to see how different this is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What is Petrie's Games planning to do in the future with Keyforge? Because I know you have Magic Nights, you have D&D Nights, Pathfinder Society,
Right.
different events that you do.
Well, what we've done with Netrunner in the past is we have like a weekly casual night. You just come out, sleeve up whatever you want to pull it, sleeve up whatever you got. This is going to be a bit interesting. I'm not
Yeah.
sure where it fits in yet.
I'm kind of curious because there's no response in this game. When it's the other person's turn, you can't do anything. So I'm wondering how you think that'll affect that part of tournaments or even casual play.
I demo a lot of games, and one of the things that I struggle with when it comes to teaching new players stuff is all the timing charts
Yeah.
and just the very nuanced timing type things. This doesn't really have that. There's not a lot of timing issues. There's not a lot of back and forth. Once it's your turn, you kind of do your own thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot more similar to Hearthstone than Magic in that regard.
Okay.
Which does make it unique. Hey, Peter Pun Point. I'm claiming that one. Yeah, so from your playing of today, what would be your recommendation on, like, do you buy one deck? Do you buy one deck? Do you buy multiple decks? Do you avoid it? Where do we sit in Keyforge with your mind?
It's an interesting problem going back to people familiar with LCGs is the big headache when you want to get into an LCG is to be competitive, you often want 2 or 3 core sets.
Yeah.
The really cool thing about this is you can buy one deck for $10 and that's it. So it's really easy to get your feet wet, buy a deck for $10. Somebody else will have tokens or you can proxy your own tokens.
Right.
And get a feel for how you like the game. There are starter sets that come with 2 demo decks, which are non-random. There's no rare cards. That's those two right there.
Starter sets.
There's no rare cards in either of these decks. I don't know if you looked at the deck
Interesting,
list.
okay.
They're all commons and
They're all
uncommons.
commons and uncommons.
The way rarity works in this game is a little bit interesting. The more rare a card is, kind of the more complex it is.
Okay.
So
So
you'll
rare
have,
means complex.
generally, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So often you'll find a lot more synergy in your decks with more commons or uncommons.
Okay.
But that doesn't really affect the power level one way or another. A deck with more rares may or may not be better than a deck with less rares.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I like strategy games a lot, but the problem is when I come across someone who's a better strategist than me, I usually have no chance. But in this game, the luck of the draw, and like, if I have 6 cards from one house in my hand, I pick that house, and man, is it a good turn. But for most of the game that I just played with Trever, it was I would draw one of each house every turn. So I'd play like maybe 2 or 3 cards, and then I draw one playable card for the next round.
Yeah, like it's interesting. There's almost a catch-up mechanic built into the game.
Yes.
Because there's 36 cards in a deck, 12 cards from each house. If you have 6 cards from one house in your deck, that means the other half, you have half of that.
You have half of
house's
that
cards in your hand.
Yeah.
So the other half are scattered across your entire deck. So if you play all 6 of those, you've got board control, but now
only-
you're not going to have them in your hand. So you
Yeah.
can play out the cards you've got on the board, but the drawback is you're not playing cards out from your
And
hand.
you're either activating the ones on the board or playing from your hand.
Yeah, and you're kind of choosing one or the other instead of doing both if they were more evenly spread out.
I
So
made
it
that
works-
mistake a couple times, and I was like, I'm going to do this, and Trevor's like, that's not from the house you chose, and so I literally would do nothing on a turn.
Well,
Yep.
you bring up something that I noticed about the gameplay too, is that it kind of feels like there's a core game, and the unique decks just add flavor to it. You can learn the mechanics, you can learn strategies and the different ways you want to play, like every other board game. But with this, you've got that added flavor of a unique deck. So it's not like everything's going to be drastically different with each different deck you have. It's going to be mostly the same, and you just have to learn that new deck, like a new weapon. We talk about you have to learn the tools that you're using, and this is just one of those things where you're getting a new tool and you're building the same thing, but a little bit differently.
Yeah. And a lot of that's going to come into play. We're going to jump back a few questions ago. A lot of that's going to come into play based on what type of events the store offers.
Yeah.
We're still figuring that out at Patriza. I think a lot of it's going to be based on the players here and how they want to play. By default, you have kind of 2 different types of events with the game. You have sealed events where everybody shows up, buys a deck they've never seen before, never opened.
Okay.
And you're playing with those. And the others, they're calling it a Archon format, which you're
This is the Archon. On the back of each
Right.
deck is the Archon that is in charge of those houses.
in a traditional card game. This would be your constructed format, but you're not actually constructing anything. So this is decks that you maybe had from a tournament last month that you really liked and you want to play it again.
That's really cool.
This lets you bring in old decks that you've used before. And then there's a whole bunch of different types of events you can structure in one of those 2 categories.
I like how Keyforge has really brought the threshold down for Magic, where I don't have to, I can know the core game, I can know the mechanics, and then I can go into a sealed event, and I'm on a level playing field with everyone else.
Sure.
Whereas,
Instead of walking into a modern tournament for Magic and you're facing a $4,000
Yeah.
deck.
Right.
and
That
you're a
somebody
dad,
yanked
so
off
you
the
can only
internet.
afford,
Right,
a
exactly.
$30 deck or something.
Yeah.
Everyone has a $10 deck.
Yeah,
I like that.
I've never been anti-net decking, but I understand the complaints from people who are, and this
Sure.
is like, it's impossible. It's not part of this
Right.
game. I'm a dad myself, and I used to have tons of time to sit there and theory craft and build my own
Yep.
decks from scratch, and now I can just $10. This is my deck.
Right.
Can't modify it or anything.
You don't even need to show up to the event with anything, but $10.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
it's really cool. It's unique.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Matt, for joining us today and for teaching us the finer
rules, yeah,
aspects of the
absolutely.
rules. We appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you more often at Petrie's and playing Keyforge.
Definitely appreciate
you
y'all
wanna-
coming by.
Yeah. If you want to comment on this YouTube video, go to our website, write in the discussion post, and then follow us on Instagram or Twitter, you can win a Keyforge pack that we'll send you in the mail. So we'll pick a winner a week after this video is released. Once we pick the winner, we will announce it in our next podcast, and we will ask for you to reach out to us through email so we can send you this pack, okay?
If you're able to spend a forge a key within your next turn, you have to tell the other person check so they know you're about to do that.
Yeah.
So future.
So the turn before, like,
So
I
if
should've
he
warned
so
you.
since
He had 6, he should have been like, I have 6 at the end of his previous
say
turn.
check, and so that you know if you don't do something, he's going to forge a key.
Like checkmate. Got it.
Yeah.
I believe that's what happens when you take damage in real life.
I'm just used to it.
Counter. Anyway, let's go. Yeah, these are my
Keep misreading cards.
keys.
It's a bummer.
Look, they have a bright
All right, my turn? Yep. Okay, I'm going to use logos. First time I'm using it this game. So, Doc Bookton, Human Scientist, and then the Bat Drone.
That makes me nervous because I feel like their game's getting covered up with other crap. But it's not.
I'm going to reap.
I think you discard cards.
I'm going to reap.
Can you reap out of your house?
Yeah, you have to.
You have to
play
reap within your house?
Yeah, all the cards that you play that turn have to convert
Oh,
the active.
activate or play. Understood.
The only exception is if an action or artifact has an omni on it, that can be done with regardless of the house that's currently active.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna choose house dis. Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this action. Use a friendly creature. That creature may be from that house. I'm gonna choose the headhunter. The headhunter is going to fight
The guy with taunt?
the guy with taunt, dealing 4 damage. And then you would deal enough damage to kill this guy.
Okay.
But I do get 1 amber for his fighting. And then I'm going to fight with the dust imp against the bat drone.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for someone to.
Dealing. Oh wait, no, actually against.
So you just get to choose, right? I don't have any say.
I think so.
Phase shift.
It's so weird. It's so the opposite of magic. in
So I'll
so
fight the
many ways.
witch and deal 2 damage.
Alright, I wanna,
Do I take damage?
okay.
You would also deal 2 damage to me, which would destroy me, and you give me 2 amber. And then I will reap and reap, which I'm assuming if I reap here, I get all the amber on it.
As far as I know, is
And she's trying to beat it too. This long and made her a playtest. I'm gonna ask this guy.
yeah, that's a good question. Because I assume it's just reaping is just.
So
Right,
if
so
I
he came in
reap,
and he stole these 3 from me. How
so
does he
then
get
I
those?
reap and get them, or
Nope. So there's no way. Well, unless a card ability specifically tells you to, there's no default action to get those off of there.
So those are
It's
I don't
really
have them.
it's a tempo play to stop him from forging a key. You're temporarily stealing. It's basically a temporary
Okay.
steal.
Okay.
So you're keeping them away from him, but there's not inherently a way for you to get those.
Gotcha. Okay,
Okay,
cool.
that changes what I'm going to do that.
And when you reap, you're just getting one from the main pool.
Yep.
Okay.
Neat. And anybody can reap. That's one of the things that I see.
Oh,
missed a lot.
anyone? Not just in the house?
I've
A
got
lot
a
of
creature
people-
that can't read.
No,
Oh,
so
that's
any
true. That's
any
true.
It
creature
has to
can
be in
read.
your house.
Yeah,
In the house.
A creature
yeah.
doesn't need a reap ability to reap.
Perfect. Yep.
that's just a bonus on top of it.
If I reap with her, I get a card.
Right.
And an amber.
Yep.
And so then she would be exhausted because she fought
isn't mine.
against this, right?
You run out of chain, you draw on this card.
Yeah, I've got a guy that specifically says he can't read.
So I attacked.
You'll figure it out.
Figure it out. That's not mine.
I attacked the dust imp against the witch. Would that exhaust the witch? So she stays like that.
So
She stays ready.
it's your turn. Yes. So it
Okay.
stays ready.
And then she would attack, killing the dust imp, and she still stays that way.
Yep. Nothing happens to her except taking the 2
Can I
damage.
attack her again?
Can't read, but
Yes.
Okay.
I ended up
So I will attack with
yeah.
Also, if you haven't already, get your 2 amber for this game being destroyed.
I did, I think. I'm pretty sure I did.
You did.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my terror and attack.
And then I'm going to discard this card. And
No, I'm going to take
So what was really
Charade,
cool
attack
was
that.
one horseman says that when he comes into play,
Deal
I can use all my other
Force. Do you think his shield resets
3 damage.
which is enough to
It
kill
doesn't
him?
actually. It's
Then another horseman
The shield
says
is
that
erased
you
and
switch back
grows
to
back
your hand.
every
So I
round.
try to say
every round,
Right,
but not.
You kill him either way,
Yeah,
but
run it back. Wait a minute.
So then that's exhausted, and then I will attack
Destroy the beast.
this one against that.
And that sucks because it goes from
Oh, come on.
and then
I haven't used a single card yet.
says,
Man, your deck is
I
crazy
do
powerful.
one
I'm
damage
not getting
to
anything over here.
each non-horseman.
I'm going to use this action to steal another, which I did that wrong already.
Okay, I'm gonna
But then I'm going to use my silver.
This guy's got a constant
I did
attack
that
and this
so
guy's
wrong.
got a thing. So if I play this guy, I lose one.
I'm going to use my silver tooth to take out this creature. I'm going to use Bad Penny
A conundrum.
Yeah, I don't know.
to deal 1 damage to this creature. She is destroyed, which goes into my hands.
Let's pretend that
That's a play ability.
ready.
we're gonna pretend that's how it works. I'm gonna play this guy and I'm gonna lose an amber in the game.
So then I'm going to do
Play this
Urchin,
guy.
deal another damage here, or actually I don't, because he's got 2 armor, so nothing happens.
Which
we are
actually is
going
disappointing to me because that would have let me win. Well, I mean, maybe, depending on what you do.
3, 5, 6, 7. So check.
Kill this guy.
All right, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Logos. Nope, that doesn't matter. Nope, doesn't matter. They can't do anything.
So I had this guy here out. He said I had no.
I guess I can't stop you, but I can make it close. I'm gonna play Untamed.
So what's the order of the actions?
Action,
This guy loses
regrow,
an amber that I don't have.
gain an amber, return the dust pixel to my hand and play it for 2 more. I'm going to play Lost in the Woods. Choose 2 friendly creatures, 2 other creatures, shuffle them away. I'm going to shuffle these 2 away.
I'm gonna take.
And your 9 power guy.
I gotta take something with him. Yeah. I'm gonna attack
This guy. Oh, you have a guy that's colorless. Oh no, that's just it's like whoa.
But I would only draw one anyway. So
I'm gonna play Scout.
I'm gonna play this guy.
And that earned me
You
a
have 7 or more amber.
just a check.
These guys can skirmish, and they
I should have probably played Logos.
And then
See
they
if I
fight.
would have won if I had.
Okay, so
No.
they can fight.
Then I win.
You win. Immediate victory.
have them both attack.
Good game.
Yeah.
The same dude.
Man.
Dang.
game
Okay,
takes a
that's it takes a bit to learn, but I'm sure it goes way faster once it's all done.
Yeah, you get. I mean, it's just like with any game. As soon as you know what you're doing, it's easier.
All right, let's get.
One thing about this game is it was designed with being turned into an online platform in mind. So on your opponent's turn, you have no responsibility. They can do whatever they want and you can't say anything except to clarify the rules of what your cards do. So if you get up from the table on your opponent's turn to go to the bathroom or get a snack, doesn't matter. The game isn't affected. And then another thing that's great is I love the art. There's a lot of games out there where the art can get a little racy, and it makes the game. It takes a game that I want to play with my younger siblings and turns it into a game I can't. This game, the art is somewhat similar to Smash Up, where it's just funny, fun, but really talented artwork, of course.
I really like I mean, the box isn't my favorite graphically, but the cards are awesome.
Yeah.
It seems to play really well. And at first, when we talked about this game in the Magic the Gathering episode, I was a little bit confused about, like, okay, how are they going to keep it from being customized? How are they going to keep it from being totally broken? Because, as you know, I have a lot of issues with Betrayal in the House on the Hill because of the universal, like, the randomness of it causes it to be really hard to gameplay and to fix all the rules. This seems to have it pretty under control. You can, I mean, it's a lot of work, I'm sure, but you can work through 370 cards and figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Well,
and I think they've done that.
Yeah, what's great is if you look at this card here, you can see the artwork here. You can see the 3 symbols at the top. Those are the house symbols. So it has 3 of the 7 houses, right? The Archon, or the Archon, the creature, is unique art to the back of the card. So you can't grab a card from another deck and put it in this one because it'll be an obvious standout, even if it would work well.
Yeah. And each card has on the bottom the name of your deck. And I guess what we found out today was that they did the deck names randomly, and so some of them are less than okay. They don't make any sense, or they're broken, or just gibberish. And what they've done is they've said that if you bring in one of those decks, they will give you 2 decks in return.
Replacement. Yeah, I think it's probably a mail. You probably have to mail.
Probably.
It. Yeah. So if you purchase a deck and open it, because they couldn't stop this before the cards went out to the stores, and the name on the deck is questionable, you get 2 decks for free.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great.
And, I mean, that brings up another excellent point. This game is only $10 to play. And yeah, there's a $32 box set that allows you to have some of the tokens
It
that
comes
you can
with
use.
2 training decks that have more basic rules.
But honestly, there are several games going on here at Petrie's right now that don't have that box set and are just using random coins and icons from different games to play, and it's working just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so $10 for a game. I would highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of learning that we'll have to do, but I'm excited to do that.
Me too. I think one big thing is thinking like, in Magic the Gathering, what happens is you buy a card, it goes up or down in price, you sell that one single card. What happens with this game is you have a deck, you play with it, maybe the style isn't your style, maybe it's aggressive in a way you don't normally like to play games, you trade it to someone else for their deck.
Yeah.
Or you sell it to someone for $10 because its value is $10. As far as out of the box goes, there are tournaments, and I'm sure some decks will rise above others.
Yeah.
But they have a handicap system in place, so the game comes down to the luck of the draw and knowing what cards to play and when, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, it's really cool. Each game feels different, even if you're playing with the same decks. And then if you do notice that one deck is beating out the other, their handicap system is their chains, which, to be honest, we
don't have anything about. Yeah,
we're still learning the game, and that'll be the case. It comes out on November 15th, which is just a few days away from when you're watching this, if you're watching it as
the day
we
it
release.
comes out. Yeah.
But I'm sure that this is a game that will live well on my shelf.
Yeah.
And is something that would be a really easy Christmas gift for people, because you spend $30 and you can play, several rounds with different people, and you can involve kids in it. It's a little complicated, but I'm sure that my brothers who are, 10, 12, and 15 would be able to catch on pretty quickly.
Yeah, so this says not intended for use younger than 13 years old. But honestly, I feel like a 9-year-old would probably be able to understand this given time.
Yeah.
It would just take a bit more.
Absolutely.
But really, it's a pretty basic for how varied it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We hope that you enjoyed watching us play this a little bit, and that we will see you at some Keyforge event in the future.